Alrighty guys, welcome back to the channel. Look, we got the KLR back. So I talked about what I had to do for the KLR for the missing key in another video. I will link that to this video as well. Basically, don't lose your key. Glasses, safety gear, HWK, adventure bike jacket, impact mechanics gloves, and today I'm wearing the ILM helmet. I have short legs, so we will walk the bike down and out and around. I gotta adjust that again. Oh, there we go. And because I'm on a hill, we're gonna do this a little different than usual. Side settle it, and I almost stalled it. I need to practice that more. But it is time for our weekly moto vlog. I just got done coming to Walmart, grabbing some groceries. That was the pet store I was leaving for the snakes. They're mice. Yes, I take my bikes grocery shopping. Yes, I have a car. I have a few cars. I still tend to like to be in the bikes. 85D. I have no clue what that means on a Model S. If anybody knows, let me know. I don't know anything about the Teslas, other than my dad has one and he likes it. I'm so not used to being on this tall thing. Ooh, we may go a different way home. There's too many people here. I am not waiting that long. Let's go a different way than how I came. We'll use the lights. Let's get over on this side. And I'm very excited to have my KLR back. Again, I really like this bike. I like it a lot for all my rides, for my daily riding. I don't have to worry about as much. I've been over this a few times. It's just, to me, it's a great daily. It's not too fast. It's fun because it's not too fast. If I decide I want to go somewhere, as far as like down a side road or down a trail, I can hop right off and go. Sun's getting me in my eyes. Let's put this shade down. I can hop right off the road and go down a trail and explore. I can go camping with it. I can hop on it and ride to Florida if I want, or to Alaska. You know, I can do anything on it. Again, it's not going to be the best at anything, one thing, but it is a do anything type of bike. And talking about a do-anything type of bike, I did mention in my last video about my Harley where I was like, I can take this bike to any twisty road and have 90% of the fun as I could on a sport bike. One person said nope. And again, if he disagrees, that's fine. Just because somebody disagrees with you does not mean that they're wrong or that you're wrong. It doesn't mean that they're a bad person or they think you're a bad person. We can have a disagreement. I want people to know that if I say something and you don't agree with it, as long as you don't attack me personally or call me names, we can disagree. You can even put your view forward, and if it's the right view and it's some way I haven't thought about it, you may be right. Or maybe I'm right. Maybe I'll put something forward and you think about it. But we do need to get away from this idea of he doesn't agree with me, so therefore he's my enemy. But I'll say the same thing about this bike. I can take this bike to the Dragon's Tail and have the same amount of fun as I did on my VMAX or my Grom. knobby tires and all. Ooh, I hit a rock. It's always weird when I do that. That's a bigger rock. And that's a good example. One thing I'm talking about when I'm talking about taking these bikes out to twisty roads and having a good time, I want to make this clear. The street is not a racetrack. And you can take your favorite influencer, motorcycle rider, and I don't care how many track days he has. I don't care how many followers he has. I don't care. If he was a top tier level rider, performance level rider, he would have a contract for a race team. Now then, am I saying that any of these guys are worse riders than me? No, of course not. I follow a lot of them. I'll gladly admit, a bunch of them will go faster than I will go, especially on a street. I just am putting it out there to say, be careful with who you listen to. A street will never be a racetrack. I don't care. I don't care what people want to say about the tail of the dragon. It's a street. It's a public road where leaves end up on it, and animals cross it, and people cross yellow, and people have blowouts, and things like that happen. You never ever go 100% on the street. Never. In actuality, you can't go 100% around a racetrack every single lap, every single second of the track. You have to have a moment where you brake, or your concentration will break after 2 or 3 laps. If that. Honestly, a lot of times on the straights, drivers are relaxing. That's their second to relax. You know, it's wide open throttle and they're paying attention, but it's not the same as through the chicanes or through the twisties. You know, and it's even worse when you're looking at races. And the greatest example of this is look at World Rally Championship. They race on the street. Look at how the cars are built. Look at those drivers are the best in the world at what they do, and even they crash due to road conditions all the time. So I will say it again. I don't care how nice you think the road is. All it takes is a squirrel, you hitting the squirrel while you're leaned over in a corner, and you're having a crash. If you're going wide open, you need to leave some room to maneuver. You need to leave some room to breathe. Or, again, don't listen to me. I keep saying this. Don't listen to some idiot on the internet. What do I know? But it has been a nice day. It's been a little hotter than I'd like, if I'm honest. It's supposed to be fall. I want to go camping. I got a ton of stuff that I need to take care of. As far as everything goes. I got cars to work on, trucks to work on, house to work on. It is what it is. But right now, I'm back on my KLR. I'm really happy. And I know this sounds crazy when you're like, you have a lowrider ST and a VMAX. Yeah, I know. Power's not everything. Is the VMAX fun? Yes. Is the Harley fun? Yes. The KLR's fun too. They fill different niches. And that's kind of getting back to what I was talking about with the 90% of the fun on a bike as another bike is in between those niches. When I first started riding, I wanted the most powerful bike I could get, and I kind of did that. I got, because I do cruiser bikes for the most part. When I first started riding, I only did cruiser bikes. I didn't care about anything else. And part of that was I'm not tall. I'm 5'6", 5'6.5". I have a really bad back and nerve damage down one side of my legs. So those are all reasons for why I looked at cruiser bikes. The lower seat height, I could get both feet down, all your typical stuff. And then I wanted something faster. Well, what was the fastest cruiser bike? That was a Yamaha VMAX 1700. So that's what I ended up with. And what I have learned is that, yes, I do like riding my Yamaha, my VMAX. It is a very comfortable bike to ride. That's what impresses me more than anything. However, I can never really whack the thing wide open. There's never a good spot where I find a place to use that bike to its fullest. Not that I'm able to. Again, go back to previous comments. But, you know, I can get on this and there we go. And I can run it through the gears and I'm not worried about going to gel instantly. Now don't get me wrong, you can go fast enough in this that you can get yourself in trouble. But you know, by the time you on-ramp on that VMAX, you're doing triple digits, no question about it. I have bunny hopped that VMAX by accident. So, you know, but I'm really considering a Dragon's Tail trip right now, and instead of taking the Harley, I'm thinking about taking this guy. I think I scared him a little bit. And again, it corners fine. And this is on knobbies. You know, yes, a sport bike is going to do better. A naked bike will do much better. It is a part of this comes from this bike does better and this, that, and the other. Part of that comes from the fact that we tend to lump all motorcycles together, and that's something we need to stop doing. We don't lump all cars together. You know, the back seats in a pickup truck suck compared to the third row in an excursion. The third row in a F350 sucks compared to the third row in an excursion. You know, you can't compare them for different things, even though they look extremely similar. I'm not going to compare this to a CBR 1000 or the Ninja 1000, Gixxer 1000, Ninja 1000. I'm not going to compare those two together, just like I wouldn't compare Lamborghini to a Jeep. Not all bikes are designed to do certain things, and cruisers fall into that worse than anything. I hear that all the time. I wanted a faster bike, I wanted this, I wanted that. So I got this type of bike, and then I'm faster than that person on my Harley. And it's usually a new rider that's on a 300 or a 500, and they got this idea from the internet of what a Harley rider is going to act like and be like, and it's not always right. I just got done having a conversation with somebody about that, actually. Well, I didn't want a Harley because of the reliability issues. I've had 6. I've never had a problem out of any of them. I know people that have 100,000 miles on Harleys and it'd still be running fine. Well, all the riders are, you know, well, not that, but, you know, the riders. I'm a Harley rider. Well, I mean, like, the gang riders. I'm in a motorcycle club. Oh, I mean, like, the real clubs. I'm in a real motorcycle club. Well, I mean, look, what it boils down to, guys, is that Harleys make up 40% of sales for motorcycles. Everybody else makes out the rest. There's just a ton of Harley riders. When you have that many people, odds are there's going to be a few assholes. It happens. I wish it didn't, but it does. So don't paint with such broad strokes, guys. And don't let one or two people persuade you into, you know, avoiding an entire brand. I would not avoid BMWs just because I met a few BMW owners that I didn't like. To be honest, if I was willing to do that, I would have not ever owned my Corvettes. So, yep, there's one of the cars. Yeah, place is a mess, I know. But we've come to the end of this one, guys. I'm sorry it's a bit rambly. I wanted to get this done and get one up for y'all. Anyway, guys, I love y'all. I hope y'all are having a wonderful time. And remember, life's an adventure. Get out there and live it.